enjoying the sessions. Okay, so that's nice to know. This is going to be a hybrid panel session. So it's not the usual panel session in which we're going to ask just the panelist questions. It's going to be thrown to the audience as well, and then we would also answer and then discuss on ways to go forward. Okay, so allow me to align with the previously established protocols. And then today's panel discussion is about quality improvements in neonatal care. In a lot of people, when you hear quality improvement, you're thinking we're going to be listing a list of problems. We don't have this, we don't have that. Well, quality improvement is not really about listing all your problems. Yes, we need to know the problems we have, but we will find ways in which would improve those problems with what we have on ground, using what we have on ground. From all the presentations we've had, I'm sure we can see that a lot of these things are doable with what we have already in our facilities. So quality improvement is not just about buying high-tech equipment, okay? So it's a problem-solving skill. So how do we identify the problem? If we know, we're not going to be listing all the problems we have in neonatal care in Nigeria. So we know all the problems we are facing in neonatal care. So how do we identify the problems? We need to get to the root of that problem. How do we get to the root of the problem? There are different methods. There is the 5 whys, in which you're going to ask why 5 times. Let me give an example. So you have a preterm that had hospital-acquired infection, right? How do you get to the root of that problem in your NICU? So why did this preterm have a hospital-acquired infection? Because the UVC was infected. Why was the UVC infected? Because the doctor did not practice hand washing before handling the UVC. Why did the doctor not practice it? Because the doctor was in a rush, because the doctor was understaffed, was overworked. Why was the doctor overworked? Because they are understaffed. Why are you understaffed? Because you don't have a scheduling system. So you can see, you keep asking why until you get to the root of the problem. So in that, if you just say the neonate has a hospital-acquired infection, and then you just say, well, how are we going to solve it? You're not going to get to the root of the problem, which is the systems in place for tackling, staff shortages and then high peak loads. So that's how we look at neonatal outcome, quality improvement. Another way is the fishbone approach, okay? So we all know how a fish is, the head and then the spine. So the problem, this same problem, is hospital-acquired infection in the neonate. So we'd like to divide those spines into groups. Let's use the 5 M's. That's the manpower, money, machineries, methods, and all that. If we group it into that and see where did we get these problems for these neonates. Manpower, we know that the doctor was overworked because of understaffing. Methods, hospital infection prevention was actually not done for this doctor. So if you go through all these groups, we're able to get to the roots of the matter. So these are some of the ways in which we get quality improvement. So, like I said, the panel session is on quality improvement in neonatal care. And it's bridging the gap between knowledge and outcomes. So it's about letting the newborns breathe, actually, because that's the theme of this symposium. Okay, so I'd just like to briefly introduce our panelists. All right, so our panelists are not just people who talk quality, they deliver it daily. They don't just talk the talk, they walk the talk. So in no particular order, permit me to introduce Dr. Gabriel Unwala, who you've also met before. Please give him a round of applause. Dr. Kanu Akudo, a consultant pediatrician as well. Dr. Taiwo Williams, a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist. Dr. Peter Igoche, a consultant pediatrician. Nurse Kemi Akinriola, the nursing manager at the Limi Children's Hospital. Dr. Kefas, the NISOM representative and a consultant pediatrician. Dr. Umba, a consultant family physician. And then Nurse Okoroma, the nursing manager at our main branch. Okay, now, let's get straight to the questions. So the questions are going to be first thrown to the audience, and then we'll just find a way to brainstorm around them. Okay? So, can anyone just volunteer? So, what quality improvement strategies do you think would help us improve neonatal care in Nigeria? Does anybody have ideas? Anyone? Okay, I have some.
I stand on the existing protocol. Good afternoon, all. My own opinion regarding improving neonatal quality care is adequate training and retraining of the staff involved in that unit, so as to update on the current trend, use evidence-based to carry out care, because these are very sensitive and vulnerable people we are talking about, the neonates in particular. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, and this is what we are doing today, the training and retraining. Very, very important in achieving neonatal outcomes, because we need to be able to train. There are a lot of times, it's not just about like I said, the quality improvement is not just about buying incubators, buying the ventilators, you understand. What do we have on ground? How do we improve on what we have? We have the personnel, then improve on their knowledge as well. Okay, so this question will be thrown at Dr. Peter Igoche. So the age of viability in Africa is 28 weeks. In Limi Children Hospitals, we've had successes managing extreme preterms, 25 weekers to 27 weekers with extremely low birth weight. What simple method? Please give us a round of applause for that. Because that is abortion, right? But we're able to bring that. So what simple method do you think is you can accrue to those successes?
Yes, so it's interesting to work in a place where you make a difference, right? So we feel very happy when we have this kind of successes. Simple things we implement, standard operating procedures. So for every single thing we do, we have SOPs, right? So right from setting up an umbilical venous catheter to the combination of antibiotics we give to thermoregulation. So it's simple. We say SOPs are foolproof, because if you have somebody employed today and the person implements them today, you are supposed to get the same outcome with somebody who have worked for 5 years. So I think it's important that we form SOPs, develop the SOPs, modify them as we use them in line with global best practices, and we get good outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that just reminds me, because you can see something as simple as SOP. He didn't say we have ventilators, although we do, but that is not what is responsible for the success most of the time. I remember one of my colleagues in the UK, when I moved there, and I was like, we've managed 25 weekers, 26 weekers, she was like, hey, really, what are you doing differently? I'm like, I don't really think you understand. It's not something like, do you do this? Okay, are you doing No, it's not about mechanical ventilators. You understand? The SOPs are very important. If any staff comes to the NICU, even on your first day, you know that this is what you're supposed to do. You don't, even if you call for guidance, you know at least the first steps to do, and then you maintain that at each time, you understand? And that's something we can reproduce in our centers. We can just sit down, form committees, and see how we can draft out SOPs for managing simple things, UVC, management of sepsis, preterms, how do you move, these are some of the things that we need to draft out, and it has really helped us in our own system. Okay? So this question is directed as Nurse Kemi. In terms of interaction, interprofessional interaction, how do you think it plays a role when there is mutual respect, interaction between doctors, nurses, administration, and other healthcare workers? What role do you think it plays in improving neonatal outcomes?
All right, thank you. In my own opinion, teamwork is very essential. Everybody has a part to play in management of this baby, from the doctor, from the consultant, to the physicians, to the nurses, to the lab, including every staff. So mutual respect is very essential, and their recommendation, teamwork, where everybody is putting in their opinion, suggestions, observations, especially doctors, nurses, observation about the babies and outcome, how what to improve about the care of the baby. So teamwork is very essential. When they are not together, when there is no synergy between the people managing this baby, it's going to affect the outcome of the care, because for a situation where a doctor and a nurse are not in good relationship, or if the lab attendant too are not in good relationship, when an investigation is being run on a child, there's a critical result, the lab person just sits on it, or the nurse just sat on the observation, did not escalate where necessary. So it's going to definitely affect the care of the child and will negatively impact the management of that child. So when there is teamwork and everybody plays as a part to play, and there is mutual respect in that regard, it fosters the development and positive outcome of the babies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we can see something as little as interprofessional respect, communication, very important in improving neonatal outcomes. So it's something we can replicate in all our centers. So now this is to the audience. If you had 5 minutes with the Minister of Health, what one thing would you tell him to be able to improve neonatal outcome in Nigeria? Anyone?
Okay, thank you very much. All protocols observed. If I had 5 minutes, what I would probably tell the Minister of Health is better well-woman clinics and better clinics for adolescents and young girls. Because just as the child is the father of the man and the woman, it's very important that for better neonatal health, we have to start with the health of the mother. That's the very important thing. If the mother is not healthy from the time she's a young child up to the time she's ready to give birth, there will most definitely be problems. If we can inculcate that healthy living aspect into the female from childhood to adulthood, we might be able to get to a point where we'll be able to reduce more neonatal problems. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very important one. Going beyond just looking at the neonates, but from the beginning, inception. Thank you very much. So this question goes to Dr. Omba. What do you think? How do you think family physicians can help improve neonatal care in Nigeria?
Good afternoon, everyone. So I think as family physicians, in most hospitals, we are usually the first point of contact for these pregnant women and the neonates. And we can start with early intervention and prevention. You identify those women at risk with maternal conditions like hypertension, diabetes. Then if you identify it early, you are able to know that you're going to have some problem or some form of resuscitation with this when it's time to deliver. Then you can also make early transfer in utero to where they have the capability of handling the baby. Then for the neonates, the age of the baby when the woman is in labor will also give you an idea of what to expect so that you can prepare adequately before the baby comes out. Then for breastfeeding, you teach them the importance of breastfeeding and the challenge is how to manage the challenges they face during breastfeeding. You know, neonate is 0 to 28 days. So if you're able to take care of the first week and you send them home without teaching the mothers properly what they are supposed to do in terms of neonatal care, then the baby is definitely going to come back to you with sepsis, dehydration, and some other complaints. Then I also think as a family physician, wherever you find yourself, you're practicing, you should be able to know the culture in that environment. Like some people, some feeding patterns they have, and the way they handle cord care. So some people use some form of hydraulic oil, toothpaste. In fact, in this Abuja, we've actually seen the baby they brought in Limi hospital with toothpaste on it and gauze wrapped around the cord. So you're able to find out all those cultural differences in terms of feeding and neonatal care. Then during antenatal, you can teach them about it and explain to them the proper way of doing it and how to handle it in case there is a problem. Then another thing we can do is discussing or coming in training the traditional birth attendants, because no matter what we do, you cannot get rid of them. So it's better you teach them the proper way to do it and how to do it. And those women, they are to refer, not dabbling into it. The women, they are to refer early so that the tertiary institutions can take care of them instead of them doing it. Then you also teach the community health workers, those that man the primary health care centers, what to do, how to do it, what to teach the pregnant women and the mothers on how to take care of their newborns. And if you do that, I think you actually help to cut down neonatal mortality. Then you can act as an advocate. Like we said, if you have 5 minutes with the Minister of Health, you can act as an advocate for policy change and for budgets to be increased. I think this 2025 is 2.3 trillion or so that was assigned to budgets. And also for the Minister of Health, that 2.3 assigned, if they can move some of it or more of it to neonatal health care and increasing infrastructure and training the primary health care center, because most of these problems, you get them in the rural areas, unlike the developed areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so would have to hold on for a bit now because we'll be having lunch break. Okay, so I think would go for a lunch break, then would return for the continued session. Thank you. Okay, so please remain seated for the lunch break. Thank you.